Richie Mo'unga's time in Japan wasn't a vacation. It wasn't a simple payday. It was phase one of a calculated masterplan to lock in his ultimate goal, World Cup glory in 2027. When the news broke that Mo'unga, the undisputed king of Super Rugby, was leaving New Zealand after the heartbreak of the 2023 final, the story seemed simple. He was taking a well-deserved break, securing his family's future, and experiencing a new culture. It felt like an epilogue to his All Blacks career, or at the very least, a long intermission. But what if that was just the cover story? What if this move wasn't an escape, but a strategic advance? A meticulously planned campaign designed to forge a new, more resilient, and more complete player, all with one date circled on the calendar, 2027. This wasn't a retreat. This was a recalibration. And now, phase one is complete. To understand the genius of the plan, you first have to understand the story everyone bought. In late 2023, after leading the All Blacks to within a single, agonizing point of World Cup victory, Richie Mo'unga announced his departure. He signed a big-money, 3-year deal with Toshiba Brave Lupus in Japan Rugby League 1. On the surface, the logic was flawless. Here was a player who had won everything possible at home, 7 straight Super Rugby titles with the Crusaders, a dynasty he ran from the number 10 jersey. He had nothing left to prove in New Zealand. The move was framed as a chance for a new challenge in a different environment and, of course, a massive financial win for his young family. He talked about the incredible experience Japan would offer. For the rugby public, it was a familiar story. A great player, having given his all to the black jersey, was cashing in on his peak years in a less pressurized league before winding down his career. It made sense. It was logical. And it was the perfect camouflage. Because while everyone was looking at it as an ending, Mo'unga and a select few were treating it as a new beginning. The public saw a sabbatical. They saw a training camp. But what if the pressure in Japan wasn't less, but just different? What if the standard of rugby, so often dismissed by Southern Hemisphere purists, was the perfect lab to evolve his game? This is where the master plan starts to reveal itself. The key to this whole operation is the reunion with All Blacks coach Scott Robertson. Their partnership at the Crusaders was legendary, a coach-player duo that redefined success in Super Rugby. The moment Robertson was named the new All Blacks coach, a clock started ticking. The public debate was about whether Robertson could get Mo'unga back early from his contract. But the real plan was far more patient, far more cunning. It wasn't about breaking the contract, it was about using it. It was about sending Mo'unga behind enemy lines, not as a mercenary, but as an operative on a mission to gather new skills, new strengths, and a new perspective, all in preparation for Robertson's new All Blacks era. This wasn't just a vague hope for self-improvement. It was a targeted operation. Let's look at the evidence. First, Mo'unga was thrown into a league that is systematically misunderstood. Japan's League One isn't a retirement village. It's a pressure cooker of fast, high-stakes rugby, flooded with world-class talent. Mo'unga wasn't just playing against local teams. He was in weekly tactical battles against World Cup winners from South Africa, stars from Australia, and legends from across Europe. And he didn't just survive, he dominated. He led Toshiba Brave Lupus to back-to-back championships in his 2 seasons there. He wasn't a passenger, he was the architect, delivering playmaking masterclasses week in, week out. The game in Japan is incredibly fast, played on hard tracks, demanding a relentless level of fitness and quick thinking. He was sharpening his sword not against blunt objects, but against razor-sharp opposition in a style of rugby that is increasingly influencing the global game. This wasn't a step down, it was a step sideways into a different, but equally demanding, tactical world. In New Zealand, Mo'unga was a leader, but he was one star in a galaxy of them. In Japan, that dynamic shifted. As the marquee foreign signing, the entire weight of expectation fell on his shoulders. He wasn't just the fly-half, he was the standard-bearer, the on-field coach, the guy everyone looked to when the game was on the line. This is a unique kind of pressure that forges a different kind of leader. His coach, Todd Blackadder, has said that Mo'unga's impact has been instrumental in turning the club around, and that a huge part of their success is laid at his feet because he is such a leader. Nothing showed this more than his performance in the 2025 Japan Rugby League 1 final. Reports surfaced that he had broken his hand in the semi-final and was highly unlikely to play. But Mo'unga didn't just play. He put in a man-of-the-match performance, scoring a try, setting up another, and steering his team to victory with a broken hand. Blackadder called him the ultimate team man. That isn't just talent. that is forged in fire leadership, a resilience he cultivated specifically because of the unique pressures of his Japanese mission. The final piece of the puzzle is the evolution of his game. Playing in Japan gave Mo'unga the freedom to escape the rigid tactical structures of New Zealand rugby and experiment. He could refine his running game and develop his kicking strategy without the intense, unforgiving microscope of the New Zealand rugby media. His former Crusaders teammate, Bryn Hall, noted that Mo'unga has been ripping it up in Japan and that returning to the international stage won't be a big problem for him. This wasn't just friendly praise. Mo'unga was honing his skills, adding new layers to his already world-class arsenal. He was becoming a more complete, unpredictable threat, perfectly tailoring his skills for the fast, adaptable game plan Scott Robertson is known for. He left New Zealand as a brilliant fly-half. The plan is for him to return as a grandmaster. And now, the master plan enters Phase 2. In August 2025, the news officially dropped. Richie Mo'unga signed an 18-month deal with New Zealand Rugby. He will return to New Zealand in mid-2026, play for his beloved Canterbury in the NPC, rejoin the Crusaders for the 2027 Super Rugby season, and crucially, he will be eligible for All Black selection from October 2026. The timing is surgical. It gives him just enough time to get reacquainted with New Zealand Rugby, get a full Super Rugby season under his belt, and be battle-hardened and peaking at the perfect moment for the 2027 World Cup in Australia. This wasn't a desperate plea from NZR. It was the activation of a long-held strategy. The short-term nature of the contract has raised eyebrows, but it also points to one thing: the World Cup. This is not about a long, drawn-out homecoming. This is a special forces insertion with one objective: win the Webb Ellis Cup. Scott Robertson has already welcomed his return, brushing off concerns about the intense competition it will create with Beauden Barrett and Damian McKenzie. His message was clear and cold: they're big boys. The jersey is bigger than everybody. Everyone knows it's always earned. This sets the stage for an epic battle for the number 10 jersey. So, who do you think will emerge as the All Black starting fly-half for the World Cup? Let me know your pick in the comments below. When you connect the dots, the picture becomes clear. The move to Japan, the leadership trials, the tactical evolution, the perfectly timed return, it all points to a calculated, long-term strategy. Richie Mo'unga didn't leave the All Blacks behind. He went on a journey to become the player the All Blacks would need to conquer the world in 2027. He has proven his physical toughness, winning a final with a broken hand. He has confirmed his ambition, stating his desire to play in another Rugby World Cup. His time abroad wasn't a holiday, it was an investment. An investment in himself, and an investment in the future of the black jersey. Phase 1 in Japan is complete. Phase 2, the reclamation, is about to begin. And with the master plan now fully in motion, the final, biggest question remains: is there anyone who can stop him? Thank you for watching. Subscribe, comment and like for more stories like this.